Okay, now we're going to graph an ellipse. So there's 4 parts you need to be able to graph an ellipse. You need a center, you need vertices, you need co-vertices, you need foci. Okay? If you can figure out those 4 things, graph an ellipse is not that bad. All right, so to find my center is always my h and k values, so it's just like everything else we've done. So my center is going to be 5, -1. Because 5, -1, the opposite, since it's inside both squares. Okay, and how you can tell the difference between a center and a circle is, a circle, these values would be the same. In an ellipse, excuse me, the difference between an ellipse and a circle. In an ellipse, these values are going to be different. That's how you can tell the difference. Now you have to figure out if it's going horizontally or going vertically with your graph. Well, this one will be going vertically because the larger number is underneath y. So this graph would be doing that. Okay? So, since this is the larger number, I'm going to take the square root of that. That's going to represent my a value. The smaller number always represents my b value. So my a value is 8. So my vertices, since it's underneath y, I'm going to add and subtract 8 from -1, because -1 is my y coordinate. That's my x coordinate, that's my y coordinate. So I'm going to have 5. If I add 8 to -1, I'm going to have 7. If I subtract 8 from -1, I'm going to have -9. So those are where my vertices are going to be. Okay? Co-vertices. Co-vertices will be the square root of 28. And the square root of 28 is 5.3. So my b value is going to be about 5.3. And it's okay to take the square root and get a decimal with this stuff, because you can't graph radicals. It's hard to graph radicals. So let's just graph decimals. So this is my b value. It's underneath x. So I'm going to go back to my center, and I'm going to change my x value. So I'm going to subtract 5.3. Actually, let's add it first. Let's add 5.3 first. So 10.3 -1, and I'm going to subtract 5.3, so -0.3 -1. Okay, so those are my co-vertices. My foci comes from taking these 2 numbers, subtracting them. So a squared minus b squared is equal to c squared. So I'm going to do 64 minus 28, and then I'm going to take the square root of that number. So 64 minus 28 is 36. That's my c squared value. Okay, so c is going to be 6. And I always added it where I added my vertice to. So my vertice, my y value changed in my center. See how my y value changed? So my foci, my y value is going to change again. So I'm going to add and subtract 6 from this number right here. So I'm going to have 5. If I add 6, that would be 5. And if I subtract 6, I'm going to have 5, -7. Now it's time to graph. Okay, so let's set up our xy coordinates. Usually I have a fancy graph. Today I do not. All right, so if I go to graph this, I'm going to start at my center, 5, -1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -1. There's where my center's at. My vertices are at 5, 7, and 5, -9. So 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's my vertex. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's my other vertex. All right? Co-vertices are at 10.3 -1 and -0.3 -1. Okay? So 10.3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.3, about right there. Again, you don't have to be exact. And then this will be about right here. Again, not a necessary thing to be exact. So my ellipse is going to look something like this. Now again, it's not going to look great. And the closer these numbers are together, the more this will look like a circle. The further those numbers are apart, the less it will look like a circle. Foci are 5 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's one foci. And then 5, -7. And that is how you graph it. You have to have these labeled, and you have to have this, because that's how you're going to have to graph these functions.